I think the problem is lying to yourself, Naughty Dog lying to themselves, that this can happen some other way. If they want to be the studio where someone has a cool idea and then they figure out how to get that idea in the demo in the time that they have to, like, get this demo out, because like Sony's a big machine, whatever, right? If you want to be that studio, you cannot be the studio that does not do more than 3 days a week in person, that doesn't crunch. I don't think you can do that. I think where this situation comes from is the whole, like, I think they had one too many good ideas, and they're the studio that's gonna they're gonna try and put those ideas in the game before the demo is shown, and now they're here, and that's gonna happen again as long as, like, and I hear what you're saying, because I feel like what you were saying is like someone needs to say that's not making it into the demo, right?
Yeah, I don't know all the aspects that go into it, but I think one of the major factors is learning like the limits of what you can realistically accomplish without sacrificing like your well-being.
Well, that's the thing, bro. I don't feel like when it comes to well-being, right? All right, they're working 5 days a week in person. Like, okay. It's not like, now I think the problem with them, with this change, this mandatory change, is when you don't tell people. If you tell someone that you're hiring, like, if this is a job where you have to come in 5 days a week or whatever, right? Then that's different. There's like, that's like, I feel like the majority of people are doing that. But I feel like the only problem with this, with like them having to come in and do this, is the fact that, like, they're having to do this after years of, we're cutting down on crunch, and you don't have to come in, like, it's like you're breaking what you already told people. I feel like that's the only problem. But if you were to,
they're working 60 hours a week. Like, they're working more than you would typically work in a traditional work week. It says, this is from the This Week in Video Game site, and said people close to the situation stated that the studio has been pushing its employees to work overtime for the last 7 weeks. This includes a minimum of 8 additional hours every week, but not exceeding a total of 60 work hours each week, logged on an internal spreadsheet. So, like, they're working more than you should be at, like, any job, really, especially, like, an office job.
I believe that working at Naughty Dog I think it's a different level of, like, the first word that comes to my mind is responsibility. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I think, okay, let's like, going back to, there's this crossroads that I see. Naughty Dog can either be the studio that, I guess there's 3 options, but one option is you're the studio that says that's not making the demo. We don't have time for that, right? And then that type of mindset can help you balance out, your work hours and everything, and like just be like, that's a path. Then you could also be the studio that says we're gonna try and fit all these great ideas into the game before the demo comes out, right? And then I think the third option that I just thought of is you could be current Naughty Dog, which is say you want to go left, but then go right when the time comes, right? Like, I feel like this wouldn't be a problem if they just chose a path. If they were gonna go right the entire time, just say you're gonna go right. Like, because if you're working, like, if there's a Naughty Dog employee that's working 60 hours a week, like, Naughty Dog, like, and I know, like, everyone doesn't see it this way, but I feel like this is just the facts. They make the best shit ever, and it's not easy to make. If someone's working 60 hours a week, it's like, bro, that sounds like the cost. I don't think everybody should be. I don't think everybody is working 60 hours a week. But it's like, bro, they're Naughty Dog. It's like they're like.
Well, it's not an excuse to overwork people.
Well,
like,
that's the thing.
You could be making like the best movie ever made, and I would still say that you like shouldn't have to work past a certain amount of time. Like, it doesn't. The quality of the art. Like, you should never be sacrificing, like, people's well-being for whatever quality of art you're making.
That's
like,
just
it's never
the reality of
justified.
That's what happens.
But it doesn't have to be the reality. Like, there are studios that make beautiful, great games that aren't overworking people.
I don't know. No, but they're not making Naughty Dog level games, bro. They're not making.
You're acting as if Naughty Dog is like a infallible god who make like perfect pieces of art that have descended from the heavens. Like, they're good games. They're even right. Great games. but like you can't weigh the cost of a person's like mental health versus the quality of art that they produce or whatever studio they're a part of.
That's the thing. It's a choice. It's like when you're working, like, okay, these are the two things that come up that pop into my mind first, right? If you're working at Apple, if you're working on the Apple II, if you're working on the Macintosh, right? Those people were probably working extremely hard, and they were probably like, it probably wasn't the health, it probably wasn't healthy, but they like, you're working on the fucking Mac, you're working on on what was supposed to be the successor of the Apple II. Or like, look at like the Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's movies. Like the stuff that I've heard about, like what it takes for them to film a movie entirely in IMAX, like these heavy ass rolls of film that people are like carrying from point to point throughout the day. Like it sounds like hell and heaven at the same time, but it's heaven for certain people. It's like if you're going into Naughty Dog, like if you're just like, let's say you right now, like you have the ability to work at Naughty Dog, you know who Naughty Dog is, like, you know, like
the argument that people are making isn't that like Naughty Dog, like basically like there shouldn't be an expectation of like, oh, I'm gonna have to overwork if I work at this studio. The expectation should be on the studio to adjust how they like organize things managerially or work-wise or whatever, to adapt in order to be able to create that stuff without overworking people. Like putting the responsibility on the worker to have like an understanding of where they're working shouldn't be the case. It should be the workplace that needs to adjust, not the work.
I don't feel like that's an option. I feel like when you're doing something,
there's a million other studios making like great stuff that don't overwork their people. Like Larian Studios, Baldur's Gate 3, like nothing about, I mean, not that I know of, nothing about crunch coming out from them. Game of the year, one of the best RPGs, like.
Yeah, and Baldur's Gate is great, but it's like Baldur's Gate, there's a level of freedom that Larian had. They didn't have complete freedom, but it's like when you're working, Baldur's Gate 3 is great, but the Naughty Dog situation is, not only do you have this like, this group of like, talented people, but they're being backed by this machine that has to crank things within a certain amount of time. And it's like, and they can't make what they're making without the help of that machine. So they have to move at that machine's pace. Like that's like
what about Insomniac? Insomniac puts out so many more games than Naughty Dog.
Insomniac's games do not fucking touch Naughty Dog. Like,
okay, that's your opinion though.
That's like, no, but bro, they're literally not as dense, as deep as Naughty Dog games.
That's just, like, you can't objectively say that. That's just not true.
Oh my god, bro, look at Spider-Man 2, bro. Spider-Man 2 is a fun game, bro. But the amount of work that goes into, like, let's say a cutscene, or that goes into like animations, it's like Spider-Man 2 is like DLC for Spider. We've been over, like, we talked about this before, but that game is like it's like an expansion for Spider-Man, like for the first game.
They made Ratchet and Clank in between like 2 Spider-Man games. How about that?
Ratchet and Clank,
they're putting out like 3 times as much stuff.
Did you play Rift Apart?
Yeah.
Rift Apart is a short game. Like, it's like they're working hard.
This is what I'm getting down to. Like, you can't judge. Like, the quality of the art doesn't matter because it's proven that you can make good, even great art without overworking people, and Naughty Dog hasn't learned that lesson. And I don't think they're exempt from that because you think that their stuff is better than everyone else's, or if anyone thinks that. Like, no one should be exempt from the fact that, like, the stuff that you're making should not come at the cost of overworking people or at the cost of work-life balance of the people that are at your studio. No difference in quality is going to change that.
It's the time, though. It's like with this intergalactic game, or this let's say this demo, right? If they had infinite time to make this demo, then they wouldn't have to have people working as hard as they're working right now. But they don't have infinite time to make the demo because they're making the demo with the help of the machine. So it's like they have to work that fast. It's like
I don't even know what you're trying to say right now.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. They're crunching right now to get the demo done like within a certain amount of time. That's from the Jason Schreier article, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason why, like, if they had more time to get this demo done, let's say this demo is just due when it's ready, right? Let's say it's due like at the end of 2026 or some shit like that. If they just had like so much time, then you wouldn't have to work them that way. Like, they wouldn't have to.
These are deadlines that they set though. Like,
but that's the thing. the Sony, like Sony's given them, you know, this freedom to make this game with a terrible name that I don't even know how they're gonna market, right? I think the gameplay is gonna push it, but Sony's giving them the freedom to make that, but Sony's still like, you know, gonna be the, you know, the corporation that it is, and they're gonna like, Naughty Dog can't just make this game forever. Like they're gonna have to, like Naughty Dog's gonna have to put a big game out that makes some money.
That's a problem that they have to solve, but like that just goes back to the internal stuff at their studio that they have to figure out. That doesn't include overworking people. Like that's not, there's always going to be like every other Sony studio puts up with the same pressure, and they may or may not have issues with crunch culture, but it's a consistent thing with Naughty Dog.
The other Sony studios, like when you look at what the other Sony studios have been doing for the past like 7 years, and then compare it to what like this Intergalactic game.
But you're making it a quality difference thing again. Like,
but it's not just like the quality that I'm talking about is not just like I think Naughty Dog's lighting is better than Spider-Man's lighting. Like it's better because it takes more time. Like they actually like it takes more time to do what they do than it takes for another studio to do like this other aspect of like, you know, this other thing that they're doing. Like it's to create, like, okay, going back to the like the one too many good ideas, right? Whatever these ideas are that put them in this position where like they're trying to make this demo the greatest thing, whatever, like whatever these ideas are, those ideas are gonna take time to actually like build, and it's not gonna be some easy thing. Like it's gonna be something that like that takes time, and then they're gonna have to pay for that time. That time is like either they're gonna have to crunch or you're gonna have to give them more time, and you can't just keep giving them more time. Look where we're at right now. Naughty Dog, like it's 2025, about to be 2026, and the last time they shipped like a new game was in 2020. Like they're running out of time, and like I think the game's gonna be like it's gonna be great, but it's like it's like if you want a Naughty Dog love, like a game that is as what's the word for, like as like densely packed, like with work. I don't know how to describe it. If you want a game
it's gonna
like
be
that,
densely packed with work.
If you want to, like, I'm talking about like, I don't know how to describe like every fucking character has their own breathing and heart rate. I don't know how to like.
Do you feel like?
I don't know how to do
like,
that.
do you really feel like you need that in your game?
But that's like Naughty Dog.
Would you know about it if there wasn't a Twitter post that was like, "Hey, look at the breathing mechanics that I."
It's not something that you know. Like it's something that you will feel playing the game. Like when I'm playing The Last of Us Part 2 and I'm like experiencing that combat and like, you know, just the feel of like going in and out of combat and like in the escalation of things. It's like I don't know like how it works, but it's definitely something that like that you can feel. Like it's one of those little things that just stack on top of each other. And I feel like, yeah, bro, I think that like is it necessary? No, but that's the thing. It's like you have to, I feel like it's important to have a studio like Naughty Dog that is taking it to that level. Whereas like other studios, they're like, they don't have there's a lot of things they don't have like time and money to even be able to attempt some shit like that. And I think Naughty Dog, like, you know, they're in like I think they're in the perfect position where it's like they have the money and the tools and stuff that they, you know, from being a part of like Sony, but then there's the trade-off of like you have to get a game out within a certain amount of time, so you're probably going to end up crunching. Like I don't think that there's like, I don't see how you get a game like The Last of Us Part 2 or Intergalactic without crunching. I don't see how you do it unless the company just gives you unlimited time, because it seems like we don't know what's going on at Rockstar because they're so secretive. But we know that Rockstar has had like, I think actually I'm not gonna say we know because I don't know where this number came from, but I heard that like the budget was like insane. Like I heard that like they have, and who was it? No, there was somebody who, bro, I wish I remember, but somebody said that Take-Two pretty much was like, yo, Naughty Dog, I mean, no, yo, Rockstar, do work your magic. Like we'll like I think they're not being pressured. I think they can drop whenever they feel like it. But I don't think Naughty Dog is in that situation because their games just don't make that much money.
I think where we're opposed is that you feel like the game that's released by Naughty Dog or you feel like studios are like, it's okay for them to make sacrifices if it means putting out like something of this quality. I just feel like that's not the case. Like I feel like if the sacrifices come in the form of like people being overworked or yeah, if they come at the cost of people's well-being, then I don't feel any game, regardless of quality, is like worth that. And yeah, so
I hear that. I feel like, and I think that in our, in modern history or whatever, I feel like when you're creating something great, like there's sacrifice. And I feel like we've heard like so many examples of this. And I think the only thing that could like say that is not like a necessity would be for someone else to achieve something like that without some crazy sacrifice. And I don't see where that comes from. Like,
well, that comes down to perceived quality though. That's subjective.
I disagree. I feel like there's certain, I think, and maybe it'll become like, maybe this game will be a better like example or easier to look at. But I just feel like just looking at like even The Last of Us Part 2, like there's a cost to all that stuff that's happening in that game, bro. Like there's like, I don't know. That's all I got. I guess to sum up how I feel about this whole situation though, it's just that I feel like if you're going to be Naughty Dog, the studio that crunches, be open about it at least. Don't tell your employees or your artist, one day, hey, whole system's about to change for a little bit. So like, figure out what you're gonna do with your kids and whatever. Like, and like, I think it should be upfront. Like, hey, you work at Naughty Dog and we're probably gonna crunch. Like, I think if they did that, then problem solved. Because then at that point, you know what you're getting into. And the reason why I feel like that's the best option is because I think that the level of like the product that they put out is just, I don't see how you get there without doing it this way. So it's like,
which
at least
comes down
open.
to perceived quality. Because you can argue that like, Naughty Dog makes the best games and they have to crunch to be able to make those games. But a million other people could argue that other games are better and they haven't had to crunch, which I'm tired of making that argument, so whatever.
I mean, I think like, I can understand people feeling like other games are better, but it's like, I feel like it's like, if I'm picturing like two burgers in front of me, and it's like, I can have my preference on which one of these burgers is better, but if there's a burger that has like all this bullshit on it, like it has lettuce from some fucking other country that was like, brought over here, and it was like, and the beef was never frozen, nothing, all these different things that make this burger more like expensive. Like, it's like, one burger is more expensive than the other.
No, I'll tell you that a $5 burger can taste better than a $500 burger.
It can.
That's why you can't, like, it's hard to base arguments on like taste.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, we'll see I don't think anything's going to change over there. I think that like this is just an issue that we're going to keep running into at many different studios, just people crunching.
Which is why they got to be more open about it. They got to like just
make it better.
It is what it is. Like, y'all got to like, I think it does make it better, because at least at that point you're not like lying to people. Because I feel like by saying we're gonna like cut down on it, like we're gonna like we're moving away from crunching. It's like you're saying you're moving away from like it's who you are. It's like that's where you're at. Like, don't lie. Like, or don't even like don't try to build this idea that that you're not gonna have to do this, and then 5 years later you're doing it again.
I think it comes down to just the wish to like do better for your team and your company, butting up against the reality of the scope and scale of whatever you're making, and like realizing it's not realistic. So I think it really just, there needs to be some intermediary that sets these boundaries somehow. I don't know. I don't see it happening. But like someone who says like, if you realistically want this thing to happen and not want to overwork people, then this is where you've got to draw the line, and right now that person doesn't exist at Naughty Dog, clearly. So, but I just think like the way that they describe themselves and all the culture over there, I'm sure there'll be another documentary where they say very similar stuff about like, we're making efforts to do better, but like it all just comes down to like what is really happening over there, and like setting, like being realistic about expectations. And I don't know, in a team full of people who are like doing the most, and like I think it's really just people who want to make something great and needing someone to tell them and like enforce like ceiling on how much they're allowed to do. Because so much of crunch culture, from what I've heard, is just like the social pressure of like, oh, I heard this person's staying late, so I guess I'm gonna stay late. Or like, if you see someone leaving at the time that they're supposed to like clock out or whatever, like they're looked down upon because like everyone else is staying late. Stuff like that, you know, it's a lot more of a social thing. And so that's why you need someone to come in, which would usually be management, which isn't happening, to say like, we're not doing that anymore. Like, you need to go home now, which, I mean, they were talking about it. It sounded like that's what was happening, but like, here we are again. And it just means that they aren't setting hard enough lines on themselves. They're either not setting hard enough lines, or they're overreaching in what they're looking to do realistically, like scope wise. So they need someone to really just like keep them in line when it comes to overworking themselves. Yeah. But you know, I'm sure this isn't the last story we'll see about this, especially since the game isn't coming out for another 2 years, like at least. So
yeah, my guess is they're gonna crunch to get this demo ready, and then they'll go back to like the 3 days a week in person, and then somewhere towards launch, somewhere maybe a few months out of launch or some shit, we're gonna hear it again.
I mean, this was just an internal deadline, so you know, obviously we don't know what their internal like schedule looks like, but I guess the hope is that if they catch up doing what they're doing now, then it's something they won't have to worry down the line. But given the fact that they have already gotten themselves into this situation, it doesn't seem like an issue that's easily resolved. So I don't know. Speaking of artistic studios who have like not great stuff going on, Sandfall Interactive